So from there, the CPU knows which space to access in the memory in order to do the processing lah. Okay, fetch, decode, execute, and store. Okay, tak apa. So you can go through this later on to understand more about the CPU cycle ataupun how does the CPU execute the program. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so again, this is just repetition to the machine cycle steps. Okay, so you can go through later on. Okay, so ni semua more information about the CPU. Okay, so now we look at what are the factors affecting CPU performance? Okay, so maksudnya it depends on many things lah. Okay, the first one is the RAM size or the RAM type. And then the next one, we can say depending on the CPU speed and the CPU type. And the next one, we can refer to it depends on the operating system. Okay, 32-bit operating system or 64 bits operating system. Okay, so when we talk about CPU speed, so what does this one refer to? Okay. All right. So let's say CPU speed ni is more on how fast the CPU can process the information. Okay, so that one depends on two factors. Okay, either two factors are integer rate and also clock rate. So integer rate ni maksudnya how many on and off commands the CPU can handle at one time. Okay, clock rate ni adalah clock rate is how fast, how fast the processor can do the task while executing a program. Alright, so for example, if let's say over here, clock rate ni sama dengan clock speed lah. Okay, so we read over here clock speed ni. Okay, usually it is measured in megahertz and gigahertz. Okay, so kalau katakan the processor tu, for example in this case 2.8 gigahertz processor. Okay, so maksudnya dia boleh proses dia punya kelajuan dia 2.8 giga instruction ataupun giga dia boleh bolehlah 2.8 gigahertz instruction per second. Okay, so this is what it meant by this speed over here. Okay, can you get that? And how about integer rate over here? So integer rate ni, it depends on the it depends on the size of the CPU tu. Okay, kejap kita kat sini. Okay, for example, if you come across CPU tu dia 32-bit processor, for example, dia tulis macam tu kan, 32-bit ke ataupun 64-bit processor ke. So that one means this one is the size of the integer that dia boleh process at one time. The size of the integer, the size of the bits yang dia boleh process at one time. Okay, so that is what it meant by integer rate. Okay, so you can see here, describes how many on and off commands a CPU can handle at one time. So let's say if you read through the CPU specification, so it says that this is a 32-bit processor, for example. So meaning that at one time, dia boleh process 32-bit at one time. And then if you read to the specification, it also states that the processor is the clock rate, is 2.8 gigahertz, for example, ataupun the clock speed is 2.8 gigahertz. So it means that at 1 second, it can process 2.8 giga instructions per second. Okay, so this is what it meant by the speed, CPU speed lah. Alright. So later on, you can go further. Okay, to get to know more about these two properties. okay, of a CPU, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so ni, okay, so ni more information about the CPU, speeds, and so on and so forth lah. Alright, ni semua repetition je. Okay. Okay, so that's it about second part of the lecture over here. Okay, tadi kita tengok yang, okay, I hope you can see this. Okay, tadi kita tengok, side by side. Okay, tadi kita tengok section 2 and just now we look at section 5. Alright, so section 2 just now is about basic computer system. We had covered in general the basic computer system. Okay, kita tengok semua sekaligus. Lepas tu in section 5, we look at the CPU, CPU sikit. Okay, nak kata detail pun boleh lah, detail sikit lah. Okay, and then we left with another 2 parts which is computer bus dengan section 4 ni, memory. Okay, so but basically you can go through these two first before we cover in our tomorrow lecture. Okay, so dua ni kita akan cover esok. Okay, section 6 and 4 ni we will cover tomorrow, and we will wrap up our lecture for chapter 2 tomorrow as well. Okay, so alright. So any questions so far? So saya rasa dah 2 jam 10 to 12. Okay, so I think we should stop now. Alright. So are you still with me? Or dah pergi makan ke apa ni? Sure, okay, good. Okay, are you okay, good. Okay, good, alright. Okay, so you are with me, okay, good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the important thing for this chapter is about the hardware that make up a computer. Alright? Okay, so I hope you can go through this chapter, okay, through the link that I gave you in the what we call this, in the ULearn ni. Okay, saya ada bagi dekat sini kan. Alright, so you just click this link and you will be directed to the what we call this, to the web page that I show you just now. Alright, so for now, for our plan for this week ni kita akan buat apa yang kita akan buat. Okay, so let's take a look at this slide over here. Okay, so let's take a look at this slide. So for today, we are having online class. Okay, same goes for tomorrow. Esok pun kita akan buat online class juga. Okay, so basically we are going to cover chapter 2, kita habiskan. Okay, and then in the next class, the next 2 classes. So on Wednesday we are having week 2 quiz. So maksudnya please respond to the week 2 quiz, or please complete week 2 quiz. Okay, so your completion for week 2 quiz will be taken as your attendance for our 3rd class this week. And then for Thursday class, we are going to have another activity. So most probably the activity will be something like what we had done on last week. Okay, which is posting your view or discussion about some topics related to chapter 2. Okay, so this is for this week. Next week, this one is to be confirmed. So if let's say, for example, usually what I did is, if let's say there's no announcement being made, okay, meaning that we will carry on with what we plan lah. Alright, so kalau ada apa-apa perubahan nanti saya akan bagi tahu. Okay, but for now, this is our plan untuk week 3. Week 3, we are going to have lab 1. Okay, and then next class tu kita akan ada online class. Online class ni kita akan cover chapter 3. Okay, and then the next class we are going to have lab 2, and then on Thursday kita akan buat another activity lah, synchronous. Okay, maybe asynchronous. Okay, asynchronous or another activity. Okay, so apa-apa nanti saya akan announce from time to time. Okay, but for now kita concentrate on week 2 first. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to have online class. So how to access the link? Okay, so we go to the announcement over here and click this class link. Alright, so kita start insyaAllah pukul 2. Okay, so you can access maybe pukul 1.50 ke 1.55 ke, insyaAllah dah buka lah this online class. Okay, so before we end, any question or anything to share before we end? Okay, about the link for our recorded video, I will share with you later. Okay, because it's a bit besar the file. Okay, so if the video is ready, I will put it in the announcement tab ni. Okay, nanti saya letak dekat sini lah, dekat announcement tab ni, dia punya link. Okay, but for now, belum prepare lagi lah, alright, the online video. Okay, any question class? Okay, any question before we end? Okay, no? How about the rest? No, no, no. Okay, 3 no boleh lah Alright. So in that case, I hope you will get something lah from this class. Hopefully you'll get something. Kalau katakan tak dapat pun, try to go through the link by yourself later on. Okay, ada video dekat situ, so maybe you can go through. I hope you can understand more by going through the link, insyaAllah. Okay, so kalau tak ada, I think that's all for today. Whether if you come late to the, sorry. Okay, so so another thing about the online class, right? Okay, so if let's say, as long as you join the online class, it's okay. Okay, your attendance is still be taken as attend. Alright, so the important thing is you join the class, that's it. Okay, so because your presence too means that you are with us lah, you are with the class. Okay, so that's the important thing. Okay, so any other questions? Alright. Okay, so if there's no question, I will be here until, here means I will be in online class until 12, okay, until 12:30. So if you have anything, then you can just let me know here. Okay, if not, I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.